I got your two done, and in a week or two, I'm gonna come sign some sign up. Okay, but I mean, I need to get a little more info. I've been inside, and I'd like to step up and do a little more.
No, there will be more. There'll be but you already have the list.
Okay,
You don't have to do an application.
I just wanted to offer more to you too.
Huh?
I just want to offer more to you too. Thank you.
Good, Dan. How's it going? I would say at 8, you gotta push it. Don't go back.
Okay. Okay, we're doing a sound check, seeing if they can hear it on TV land. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Right, we win.
No, I don't know because, well, you didn't, and I have always.
You need a help.
Joe, I'm going to sneak behind you. Okay?
That's what he told me on Saturday. And then, so I'm still.
Not just, no. But generally, some people have. It's a good way to use the meals. There's staff, but there's also. Okay. Yes. So when you. Some sort of reason for that. It was Linda who had the ladies' lunch idea.
Okay.
So she wants to it's the word proceed. And explore having I had this whole rigmarole to do.
Oh, and by the way, okay, so this is all ready. Just push this up on your.
Okay, I think we gotta take it under advisement. I think we need to move people up here so we can go along. No, people are getting like around. I think people are. I think people are. That's all right, that's We're gonna hear a lot more coming up. Actually, it was from your president. Hello. Shush. I know what this is. Great, by the way, thank you for this. That's what we were out here, thank you. Yes, sir. Oh, do me a favor.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone tonight?
Good, Benny.
Good, thank you, Tom. Can everyone hear me in there? Okay, well, I'm going first tonight, and I'm going to end with all the prizes for Thrive. So I'll give you my little commercials. So first one is I have pub trivia tomorrow. So tomorrow and on Thursday, the 26th, we start at 4 o'clock right here in the Turkey Roost. Everyone comes in, gets a complimentary beverage, they join a team, they answer questions together. And we have a really good time. So pop in, join us for pub trivia, and come early to find your team, okay? And I do a little stretch. I'm doing that Thursday, that's tomorrow. How about that? Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and on Wednesday, June 18th and 25th at 3 o'clock, also in the lobby. This is a very gentle stretch class. We do all different exercises I learned from the Arthritis Foundation and stuff I picked up along the way. But full body stretch, very gentle. If you do not like to exercise, this is for you. Please come. We do it in the lobby. I bring all of you, could say hi to her, and we have a lot of fun. Yes, Karen. Thank you, Karen. We are seated through the whole class and head to toe stretches. Team member of the quarter nominations are due by Monday, June 23rd. And you pick up the forms where you deposit them in the box in the little alcove near the mail room. If you do not know where that is, come see me and I'll tell you. But please take time to recognize team members that go above and beyond their role working here to provide a culture of growth and give you terrific service and make your life better. So please take the time to acknowledge those people who do that. Okay, and thank you to everybody who signed up for Thrive in 25. We had over half the residents sign up, and about 60% of those people actually participated. So thank you to those who did that. Woo-woo! And I already have a list of suggestions how to make it better for next year. So if you haven't given me your suggestion on what would make it better next year, come see me or call me, write me a note. It could be anonymous, I don't care. But we're always looking at how to improve the experience. And I promise I will not make you work if you make a suggestion. Okay, so for the people who did participate, I have their names in the little envelopes here. Alex is going to help me. And we're going to start with the grand prize first. So this is people who turned in all 4 weeks participation sheets. And the way we're doing this first because if you win this prize, sorry, you can't win another prize. 1 prize per person per my committee's request. Okay, Alex, please do the honors. They're tiny.
Okay. Karen Moody.
Oh, Karen Moody, are you here? Oh, I forgot to say, it's a complimentary dinner for 2. Karen, if you're listening, I'll leave it at the desk for you. Okay, I'm sorry. We need another one.
Right.
Two per week. I felt so generous.
Bill Quirk.
Oh, Mr. Bill Quirk, congratulations.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo! Karen Moody won the big prize. I got ahead of myself. So Karen, wait till you see what's in there. You're going to love it, Karen. Okay, so now on to week 2. Or week 1. This is week 1.
Okay.
I'm so confused.
Oh, wow. Okay. Keith Moody.
I have to say, for those of you that have been around for a while, Karen and Keith win all the time. And this just proves it. Okay. Let's do another one out of here. Another one out of there.
Okay. Ken Brady.
Oh, Mr. Ken Brady, are you? Oh, there he is, right up front. Congratulations, sir. Complimentary dinner for 2. Okay. Now let's move on. Oh, I should have told you what I was doing so you could keep me on track.
Eberhard Stiller.
Eberhard, are you here? Oh, they're in Yosemite. Okay. So, Eberhard. Okay, one more. Thank you.
Suzanne Grimes.
Oh, Suzanne, are you up here? Well, congratulations, Suzanne, if you're listening. Okay, we will move on to my next little. This is week three participants.
Jackie Kahn.
Jackie, are you here? Okay, I'll find you, Jackie. And then one more out of there.
One more out of her. Rosabelle Lowe.
Oh, Rosabelle, are you here? Oh, there she is. Woohoo! Complimentary dinner or meal for two, right here in the lovely Acacia Creek dining room. Okay. Okay, last two.
Clement Leon.
Oh, Clement and Leon? Are Clement and Enid here? No? Okay. Jackie, Suzanne, Eberhard, Clement. Okay, I have to remember all that now. Last one.
Janie Young.
Janie, are you here? Janie Young. Okay, well, I will get you your certificates, everyone. And again, thank you all for participating. This is just a way to get us out trying different things and having fun together. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to Alex from MCYAF, and he'll tell you what that stands for. Thank you.
Thank you, Benny.
Hey, everybody. So MCYAF stands for Masonic Center for Youth and Families. And, but it also serves everybody here, so the elders too. You probably saw maybe a little pamphlet in the, that you got in whatever mail system that you guys got here that has my name, Alex Weinstein, and a group that I'm starting to run next week. I did 2 sort of intro groups here last month and really great success. And this group that I'm running is already like almost full. So the idea is that it's just a space for people to talk about what it's like to live here, what it's like to be an elder, what it's like to be going through the things that you're going through, and to receive compassionate support because it's hard. It's hard to be at the stage of life that you are all in. And I also know that it's hard to talk about it. Because everyone's kind of got their own long list of things that they're struggling with, and no one wants to burden each other. So it's a facilitated space to be able to discuss these types of things and receive support and be able to be witnessed, which can be, I think, really, really healing. So even though we're almost full with this group, I still really encourage you to reach out to me. My extension is 3010 because if, the more calls I get, I can take your name down, I can record that there's more interest, and this is going to be hopefully the start of something that will be ongoing. And I imagine it will be given the enthusiasm that I've received so far. Oh, is it this little one? No, the big one? The big one. Okay. Is this good? I'm not really a microphone person. I'm usually like a project really loud person, but here we go. Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's my spiel. And just in general, we here at MCYAF, me and the other clinicians, who's the big office is at that house on top of the hill. We're here to support you both in terms of this group and in individual therapy. So I already see some clients in Acacia Creek, and we're here for you. Again, if the group thing isn't really your style, it feels a little intimidating to share in that kind of format, individual therapy is available too. So please reach out, 3010. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for being here and sharing with us your expertise. Okay, so I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Luis wants to thank you all from the bottom of his heart. And the reason why we want to thank you is because we want to thank you for your grace. Your grace while we're moving through this time with Ed's passing and Nancy being on vacation, your flexibility, your patience, your willingness to do this or do that for us, to take a lift when needed. We really, really appreciate all of you for that. And we couldn't ask for a better group of people to serve than you. So thank you so much for everything that you've done to support us. Round of applause to you all. Okay, with that being said, the exciting news is I have 2 interviews for a driver this week. So, woo-hoo! I cannot wait. So hopefully, crossing my fingers, my arms, my toes, my every being, that one of these 2 will work out and we'll have a driver on board soon. So, give us all the good energy you can. This week is the week. Okay, and guess what else we're doing? Anybody here take Lyft? Has anybody here ever taken a Lyft ride? Oh, excellent. Okay, so Acacia Creek is partnering with Lyft. Lyft is launching a new app called Lyft Silver. And Lyft Silver is a portion of their company that is going to be geared to seniors. And it's going to be way easier to use than the normal Lyft app. They're in the process of piloting this right now, and they've asked Acacia Creek to partner with them to do some research, get some feedback from people who have used Lyft Silver. So in your mailbox, I'm going to be giving you all a memo. In the memo, it's going to tell you all the things that Lyft is going to be doing while we're piloting with them. They are going to be here on June 30th. There's, I think, like 4 of them that are coming. And they're going to have little focus groups. They want to have people who have downloaded the Lyft Silver app, people who have not downloaded the Lyft Silver app. They want people who have used just regular Lyft and people who have never used Lyft in their lives. They want feedback from everybody. So we will be asking for people to come forward who would like to participate with this. And there's more information to come. But on the back of this memo is going to be some more information about Lyft Silver, what the app looks like, and there's a QR code down on the bottom for you to download the app to your phone if you wish to kind of help us out and see how this works out, okay? If you have any questions, come and see me. If you're not sure how to use a QR code or how to download it to your phone, all that kind of good stuff, let me know and we'll work through it. We're pretty excited about this partnership. One of the things about Lyft Silver is that you can let somebody know, like your family member or your husband, your wife, your best friend, whoever, oh, I'm taking a Lyft ride. You can send that Lyft ride to them, and they can make sure you get to your destination okay. If you have a daughter or son or somebody fun in your life who wants to put money in your account, they can put money in your account for you to take rides as a gift, or if they want to, just give you money for a ride or whatever. Also, there's supposed to be like, you are going to talk to somebody. If how sometimes when you're in Lyft and the Lyft driver can't find where you are, or you can't see where Lyft is, there's going to be an actual somebody to talk to. When they're here on the 30th, for the people that participate in their research focus groups, they're going to give you some money to do it. $75 to $125. I mean, if nothing else, let's do that, right? And then they want to have some people that are willing to take a ride that day, and they want to ride with you to just a destination close by to see how it goes, see how you're feeling about it. So they're all in the beginning stages of this. They're kicking it off, and they want us to help them out with that. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions about it, and we'll talk through that. Okay. Yes. I do not believe so. Nope, it's all separate. Terry says that she thinks they are using Uber for that.
I asked a while ago, and you can trust and verify, they changed the 3 pickup spots here on campus.
Mhm.
They don't pick up at Acacia Creek anymore.
Yes, they do.
They do? How do you?
All the time.
Yeah, I think you might be, let's talk offline, Tom, because I think I might know what's going on.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I walk down every time now. I used to get picked up here for 10 years. But I can show you later. There's no argument.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
only 3 ways. I'll show you. There's only 3 places to get picked up on this.
Yeah, we can talk after this, Tom. Okay, so exciting news about Lyft. Happy Father's Day, everybody. That's on Sunday. I can't believe it's Father's Day already, so happy Father's Day. Okay, so now dates to keep in mind. I'm going to go down the gauntlet here. June 13th, this Friday, is our resident forum. How to make your voices heard. What can we as residents do to make life better for all residents? What should be served in the dining room? How should Acacia Creek be landscaped? All these great questions. We need your information. We need your volunteerism to help out with these things. So come on the 13th to the resident forum. On June 16th, the secrets to creating amazing photos with Phil Dauber. Has anybody walked by Phil's apartment to see his amazing photos? They are amazing. Well, he's going to come and he's going to tell us about techniques that he uses to take those amazing pictures. So come and listen to him. On June 17th, we will have Washington Health speaker, Dr. Eric McDonald. He's an orthopedic surgeon who's going to present on back pain and joint replacement. We had some feedback from some residents that they wanted somebody to come and talk about back pain. Here it is. Dr. McDonald's going to be here on the 17th to talk about that. On June 25th, we have Mindful Movements with Serena. I know she's here. I saw her. There she is. Okay, join Serena. She helps us focus on moving our bodies mindfully for the purpose of becoming more aware of our bodies, movements, and breath, which can promote relaxation, balance, and mental clarity. So join her. And then on the 26th, we are going to have yoga with Sandra. So we'll have 2 days of being mindful in our bodies. And then the next day, after you're all in your zen, we are going to have Zumba Gold with Pinky down the lobby so we can dance it out. And the best part of this, no dancing techniques required. So come and join us. All fitness levels are welcome. And then on the 30th, we'll have our Lyft presentation. And then that's the end of the month, and we're into July. Crazy how time is flying. All right, that's all I got. I believe I pass it off to Bill. Who's next?
So, as president of the council, I hear complaints from some residents about other residents. One of them is that some people aren't putting garbage in plastic bags before they put it down the trash bin. This results in smelly, and I'm told it actually corrodes the metal, can corrode the metal. So try and put your garbage in plastic bags. Second, it deals with dogs. So I have 2 cute dogs, and some people love to come up and pet the cute dogs. But other people are very standoffish about dogs, and occasionally people are letting their dogs go to people who would rather not see the dogs. So try to keep control of your dog and don't let it go to other people unless they indicate that they want to see them. You know, they put their hand down, come kiss my hand, whatever. But if they're kind of standoffish, some people are even scared of dogs. I was until I had dogs. But so just keep track of your dog. And finally, picking up poop. Not everyone seems to do it. If you go along the South Pass here, particularly near the West Gate, there's some dog whose poop I recognize that's not getting picked up, and I'm picking it up, but please pick up your dog's poop. And that's all I have to say. So go ahead. No, as a matter of fact, if you bag a recyclable, they won't recycle it. They'll just throw it away. Because they do this very complex sorting of the recyclables. And if it's in a bag, they can't do it. So they just, anything in a bag, they throw away. And by the way, 50% of what they get is garbage. So don't recycle, on the plastics, unless it's a bottle, which is the ones and twos, they don't recycle it, at least here. And, be very careful about what you put in. The less you put in, the better, actually. In terms of, if you're not sure it should go in, don't put it in. I'm an expert on that. I chaired the committee that dealt with recyclables in the assembly. And it got quite complex. All right, who wants the microphone next?
Thanks, Bill. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Quigley. If we haven't met, I'm the CEO of Acacia Creek and Masonic Homes. It's good to see all of you this afternoon. It's been a wild and woolly month or two here in Union City. We've had a hawk that is very protective. It's a new event for us. If you didn't know, she's a red-shouldered hawk, which apparently is protected both federally and by the state. She has a nest in a palm tree with two little babies that we're able to see out one of the units, and she's quite vigilant in protecting her children. We've had 2 ER visits as a result, one staff member, one resident. So please be aware when I know we've got signs up, but I'm concerned that she's going to knock somebody off their feet. She's not an insignificant bird. She's a big girl and really passionate about her nest. So that's been an exciting first for us. It's also been a couple busy months because it's been a busy couple travel months. This is, we always call it conference season, that the professional associations that are involved in healthcare and senior living have 2 kind of conference seasons, if you will, one in the spring and one again in the fall. So Sandra and I and a few other people have had the opportunity to go to a couple of those conferences. One was Leading Age of California, which was in San Diego. It is the National Association for Not-for-Profit senior living communities, and they have a California chapter. So we had the opportunity to be able to be there and to hear what's going on in senior living, and we learned a ton. Lots of conversations about artificial intelligence, mind-boggling, that's all I can say. Really good stuff, but a lot to absorb. And it also gives us an opportunity to hear the common issues that we have across communities. I was thinking as you were talking, Bill, that this issue around dogs and cleaning up after dogs, believe it or not, is not an Acacia Creek phenomenon. Who'd have thunk? There is a community or a series of communities. Anybody here who's been to Stone Ridge Creek? In Pleasanton, right? Livermore, Pleasanton, one of those, across the hill. They're part of a series of communities, and how they've dealt with this, are you ready for it? You have to give a sample, shall we say, of your dog to them that goes into a data bank, and if they think you're a repeat offender of not picking up your dog's waste, they run it through the data bank, they take a sample, compare it to your dog's DNA, and you are fined if it is proven to be a match. So I applaud their creativity. Not sure that we want to go down that path, so to speak, but it is just this bit of an example of how difficult it is to live in community sometimes, right? That we have all habits of our own that we bring into community. We have thoughts, we have opinions, we have experiences, whether it's with dogs, I like dogs, I don't like dogs. And that is part of the challenge of living in community, is how do we navigate those commonalities and how do we navigate those differences and do it in a way in which we build community and a sense of connection to one another and harmony in the process. So dog poop is one example. Another would be the 300-pound gorilla that we want to talk a little bit about today. The political discourse and tension that we have felt here at Acacia Creek is not an anomaly. It's different for us, but it is not a unique experience. And certainly not in the world. We all watch the news. But even in senior living, this is something that senior living communities throughout the country are dealing with. How do we find common ground? How do we find peace in our homes, in our neighborhoods, with our friends, and the people that we dine with every night, even if we don't agree with them? We are not here today to debate the pros and the cons of any position or to point fingers. Our goal today is to, Sandra and I, to lean into transparency, to make sure that everybody understands. Is anybody surprised to find out that the grapevine is not always a reliable source of information? Does that surprise you all? Because it is not. So we're here to lean into transparency, to lean into conversation. What our intention is, to fall on our sword is needed. I make several mistakes a day, generally speaking, and we are not immune to stubbing our toe, putting our foot in our mouth, not necessarily managing it as well as any given situation is. So just want to, in the interest of promoting truth, information, and opportunity for us to start to come back together as a community, that's what we're here to talk about this afternoon. If we feel that the community, if you all feel, it's not even a matter of what we feel, but if you all feel that we need some sort of facilitated conversation, a larger conversation about this, we can find that resource for us to do that. That is not what we're here to do today. We just wanted some truth telling about where we are, why we're there, what the thought process and intention was in some decisions that have been made, and to know that it is oftentimes an ongoing conversation, not just a point in time. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Cool, thank you. So Sandra.
Thank you, Terry, for that. I want to talk about harmony and community. And so I have some thoughts, some notes, and I just want to, and again, share a little bit about our thought process and how we got there, and then open it up to chat a little bit. So really, one of our community's Acacia strengths, our community strengths, is our diversity. Can you hear me back there? There's plenty of seats. Come forward for those who are standing. And raise your hand if I start to speak with my arms and you can't hear me. But it's really Acacia's strength is our diversity. Our community includes a rich variety of backgrounds, heritages, life, professional experiences, talents, passions, interests. For example, we're very diverse by gender, by race, by age. For a senior campus, we're very diverse by age, by Masonic affiliation, and it's relative to other parts on our Union City campus. Acacia is diverse by Masonic affiliation and by religion. So this diversity, Acacia Creek's, our diversity, is a strength because it enriches the culture and dynamism of our campus. It keeps life interesting and broadens all of our experiences collectively. A saying that I like is, out of many, there is one. Thanks in part to our diverse natures, we have created one community, a family that cares and respects for each of its individual members. One of my jobs, with the support of Terry, support of the team here at Acacia Creek, and each and every one of you, is to harness our diversity in ways that build community, to ensure that our diversity strengthens our Acacia family and our sense of oneness and togetherness, rather than lead to separation or isolation. Mostly, I'm happy to say, this happens organically. We naturally work together to support each resident's unique needs and passion. But Acacia Creek also consciously supports individual residents or groups of residents' passions and interests, knowing that by doing so, we create stronger bonds within this community, our community. For example, a few of these examples include when we devote resources to the wood shop, we devote supplies, space, our Monday, Friday craft groups, we devote labor, supplies, space, bell choir, we support labor, space, copies, game groups, space, and labor. By supporting these specific resident activities, we aren't taking resources away from the community. We're supporting residents and following and building upon their passion and interest in a way that will nurture the entire community. We strengthen our family. We strengthen this community. So today, we're living in a time of heightened politics and therefore greater potential polarization. It's natural that individuals here at Acacia Creek and throughout our state and country have different reactions, opinions, responses to the changed climate. In this environment, our community will be tested more than in the past. There may be times when we're tempted to view our community's diversity less as a strength than as a weakness. We should resist this temptation. For my part, myself, along with my team, will be increasingly intentional about how we celebrate and support our diversity while strengthening our oneness. Over the past several weeks, for example, we've had to think through new situations raised by some residents' desires to express and act upon their political beliefs. This was new for our community and honestly caught me by surprise. And I believe, however, that we are well on our way to developing agreements and protocols to address new situations like this. The policies we are developing and the decisions we've taken to date have been our best attempts, and often on the fly, to balance the rights of our residents and to safely exercise their free speech and community harmony, to balance this community harmony with the right to free speech, and without endorsing a particular side or particular point of view. We are not unique. Communities like ours are all grappling with this situation, just like our greater society is doing. Going forward, I think you will see the community act fairly and cautiously, endeavoring to ensure that residents feel free to exercise and express themselves, but on their own time with their own collective resources. Acacia Creek should not be a barrier to political expression, but neither must take a side or endorse a particular cause or position through financial, staff, or other Acacia resources. In striking this balance, we can best maintain harmony and our sense of oneness. There is judgment in all of this. Little in this world is black or white. In the future, we'll no doubt test my and the thinking of each of us. We will no doubt make changes and get better at this along the way. And it may be that as we work through these situations, we become an example to other groups who are grappling with this similar friction. You should know that we're working hard now to get this balance right. That balance of where we celebrate and nurture our diversity, our uniqueness, our rights to expression, and while building our commitment to be one caring community. We will be as transparent as possible in this process, but sometimes it's difficult to get all positions of all people before making a decision. So we're acting in the best information we can gather in any one time frame. Frankly, we're going to make mistakes. We have made mistakes, perhaps. We're always interested in your thoughts about how we can improve this process. I ask for your support, your input, your patience, and I'm sure at times forgiveness as we strive to fulfill this important mission and balance in the coming days, weeks, and months. And so with that, I just want to open it up for thoughts, feedback, conversation, questions. Thank you.
Talking about the community, or you're talking about both the home and Acacia Creek?
Yeah, we're talking about the whole community, the whole campus, the one team.
I thought religion or politics was not something you discussed.
The question was, she thought that religion or politics was something we don't discuss.
I don't have any great words of wisdom here. You know, I think that we all grew up believing that if you wanted to keep friends, that those were topics you didn't talk about, right? But the reality is there are topics that are important to us, and they are idiosyncratic to us. I'd be willing to bet that if you were to like poll everybody here, they'll have a difference of opinion about something in one of those areas, right? Whether it's a political issue or religious issue, that there will be a difference of opinion that we can identify somewhere. I think that rather than saying what we don't discuss, I think it's an opportunity for us to talk about how we discuss things, how we have conversations, how we explore policies together, how we get as many people in the room before we set a policy so that it is representative of the intention of the whole, not the individual. So what you discuss at your dining room table, we have no influence over or control over, nor should we, right? That's your life. I can't tell you not to talk about religion. I can't tell you not to talk about whether you went to Bible study this week or you didn't go to Bible study this week. I can't tell you whether you're going to watch CNN or Fox News. That's a personal decision you make. What we do want to do is have policies that represent the whole, are fair to the best of our ability, that and that promote this sense of community that we're all trying to strike, this balance of harmony, of people feeling comfortable walking in the hallways, not having to avert their gaze because we disagree with each other. We're going to disagree with each other. That's a given. I would imagine finding anything that we can agree on unanimously would be hard to find. Maybe only that we don't want to do DNA testing for dogs. I don't know. But I bet there's one or two of you here that are like, yes, that would be a good idea. So I'm not making light of it. I think that this is life, right? Our whole life, there's been conflict of some kind. Our whole life, we've had people that we agree with and disagree with. What do we do with that? That's what the balance we're trying to strike. We don't want to favor any group over another. We want to create as close to the middle path as we can find and honor the fact that this is your home. That's the balance we're trying to strike rather than tell you what we can and can't talk about. Does that help at all? Okay.
So what are the rules with regard to the meeting rooms? Does that mean we don't have any political or religious meetings in any of the meeting rooms?
It's a really good question. And that Sandra and I were talking about that today to explore our policy and to see whether or not it's clear enough. We're actually revamping a policy to take a look at those things. The reality is we have had both religious and political meetings here before. They just haven't occurred in the current environment that we have right now. I think it's not the only issue, but it's a significant issue. So how do we allow for, again, the spaces that exist at Acacia Creek or on the Union City campus that you count on, sorry, I feel like I'm not making eye contact, that you count on as being part of your home to feel accessible to you and we preserve peace and community. So we're revisiting that policy right now, Bill, to say what seems fair and equitable, what should the guidelines be around that use, so that if you have a meeting with your friends, where can that occur? What goes on in that meeting and in that conversation should be between you and them, but where can that occur? Where should it not occur if it disrupts the peace of the community? He's like debating whether to raise his hand. I can see him. Tick, 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 tick.
Should we be permitted to have a discussion in a facility? This or whatever. It might be just being here, being in the little room in the third floor. It seems like we've just cut that off.
Right. So with this tension has become this feeling that we can't gather to have conversations with our friends. That's kind of where this kind of the intention goes a little off the rails, right? So let me give you an example. Sure, the question was, I'm going to bungle this. The question was, can we have space in which we actually meet with our friends to talk about current events, politics, religion, whatever that might be? Okay? Because we have religious services on campus, right? We're all good with that, or seem to be. At least I haven't got any letters. You can send one. Okay, thank you. I count on you, Bill, keeping it real. I think that that's kind of what I'm talking about. So how do we respect and honor private conversations between you and your friends and make the distinction between that and something that we are sponsoring or contributing resources to? So for instance, if there's a local election in Union City and the mayoral candidates wanted to come and do a presentation, or the council member candidates wanted to come and do a presentation and a panel, I would feel absolutely obligated, if we were putting that on the Acacia Creek calendar, to make sure that all the candidates were invited, right? We don't have a bias, we don't have a perspective that we're taking. We invite all the candidates who have an opportunity to show or not to show, and to have that conversation and that dialogue with you. I'm not just inviting the Republican candidates, I'm not just inviting the Democrat candidates, because if it's going on the Acacia Creek calendar, I feel an obligation to maintain neutrality and just be a source of information. Does that make sense to everybody? If, on the other hand, I and 6 of my friends want to sit down and have a conversation about the mayoral candidate, and whether I'm supporting him or not, that usually happens, frankly, in my kitchen or my living room. I think the conversations we're having are, if the numbers get too great, how do we feel about using shared space? So we're working on that policy. I think it's kind of a similar policy to me of, for many years, I belonged to the American Association of University Women. So if I wanted to bring the AAUW on campus to have a chat about whatever we decided to chat about, would that be within our policy as a resident? That's, I think, what we've got to try to get back to, is that neutrality of policy, the neutrality of clearly trying to be neutral as management, and allowing, we all try to find a space in which we know that we're going to have differences of opinion. We're not going to agree. Some people would be offended by the American Association of University Women because it's not men and women. I mean, how do we strike that balance together that still allows us to feel like you're home, allows you and those who don't agree with you to feel equally respected and comfortable in their home? I'm not sure we're there yet, but we'll get back there. So yes, we are willing to have a facilitated conversation about how that happens, if that's something that's of interest to residents, in terms of, I know Russ Charvoni has done a presentation about civility before. You know, how do you sit in a room and talk to each other when you have differences of opinion? whether it's Russ or somebody else, there is an opportunity for those who feel that it would be helpful to have that facilitated conversation. Yes, Barb?
There was something called the whiteboard.
There was something called the whiteboard. No, I have not heard about the whiteboard.
Cardinal, Frank Cardinal conducted the whiteboard as women or men can. And they would maybe but generally just things. And they were open to discussion. And we hear one side and then we there was never any saying that this side is wrong. Difference of opinion.
So there was an opportunity to, correct. Correct. So Barb, for those of you who couldn't hear, was giving the example of, we used to have a whiteboard here at Acacia Creek that was a group that would talk about, two sides of issues, maybe a handful of issues, the pros and the cons, to be able to just explore topics together with a moderator who could talk about, who could keep the conversation on track and keep it relatively harmonious. And I think that that's a beautiful idea. I've been in communities where we've had current event groups that would come together and were very well attended. And there were some guidelines so that we knew language didn't get inflammatory. We knew we were going to be polite and respectful. And if we weren't, we got called on it. So I think there is an opportunity for us to talk about how do we facilitate that, allow for differences of opinion, and we all walk out feeling respected and heard. That would be the goal with a facilitator. Yes, Carol? I think that Carol was talking about how do we as individuals kind of find that balance, and there's lots of ways to do that, whether you, she was mentioning making sure she watches different channels on TV. Some people subscribe to different newspapers, but I think that when we come together, again, I think that it's an opportunity for us all to do some self-examination, some facilitated conversation about where those bumpers should be. Sometimes you got to have negotiated bumpers of like, that's off limits, that's too harsh. What is respectful? How do we define that in a way that everybody can be comfortable with? Okay, I have more than my, yes, sir. Yep.
This way, or my Masonic cap downtown. Most of those people who they're supporting, they won't research and they can diet. Not represent my view. That's not the problem. Is that they have a social view with then ask for Masonry for 68 years. Politics and Masonry were never. You don't do politics
Thanks, Larry. So I can summarize that to the best of my ability. I think that Larry disagrees strongly with the presence of demonstrations, political demonstrations that are in close proximity to anything that says Masonic Homes in Acacia Creek, because there may be, good or bad, people that draw a conclusion about who we are as a community based on that particular group, regardless of which side of the aisle you sit on, to be clear, right? That if people drove by and saw, I'm just going to call it, saw Trump signs out there, they might assume that Acacia Creek and Masonic Home supported Trump. If they saw anti-Trump signs, they might think Acacia Creek and Masonic Homes did not support the president. So Masonic or not, because we serve a lot of non-Masonic people here. So in lodge, you are correct. You don't talk about religion or politics in lodge. So in community is where we start to, because we're not all Masons here, Larry. And so how do we continue to find the peace and the harmony that is so important to Masonry and so important to all of us in our home, while allowing for us to say that we have things that we're passionate about. So I understand completely that and that's part of our concern is how do people, we don't want anybody to draw any conclusions about this community from the street that are less than comprehensive, I guess would be the word I would want, that represent the whole of us, not just the one little piece, either in population or in view. We want people to see Acacia Creek for the whole community it is. And not just a political orientation, but who we are as a community. That's the challenge we're trying to strike, and have made some mistakes about it, and I get that. So that's where we're trying to get, is how do we, and absolute honor anything that you're passionate about. I think Sandra said we want passionate residents. If you're passionate about the wood shop, if you're passionate about the bell choir, if you're passionate about the AAUW, we want people to have passion in their lives. We've just got to figure out how to navigate this so that in this time of political tension, that it doesn't undo all the great work you all have done to be a community and to feel like you're a community. That's the needle we're trying to thread, if that makes sense. Okay, I saw a couple more hands and then I feel like I need to get out of your hair. Yes, Bill.
So you haven't decided finally on the rules yet for political and religious speech? Is that true?
I don't think I'm big enough, all-encompassing, omnipotent person to control anybody's speech about politics or religion. I think we're looking at a couple policies specifically around things like common space, things like that, to see what makes the most sense and are going to be interested. Again, we've tried to do some of this on the fly, which doesn't always go very well, because then you hear from a group of people, but you don't hear from the larger group of people. That was a mistake we made, was, all right, we need a larger consensus here to make sure that we're being transparent and nobody feels like there's backroom deals being made. That seem fair? Accurate, reasonable? Yes, ma'am.
our civil rights movement. Let's say that rules will be difficult for our situation where there are rules that you can realize that that you can't do. Look over my shoulder and decide that I think who is to say?
Can I try to summarize your question? Okay. So the comment was made that we need to take a look at the resident handbook to make sure that it is consistent with our practice, to make sure that it is clear about the role and the history and the values that come from Masonry and how they play out in community. Does that seem fair? This is not a lodge. This is a community. So nobody wants to feel as though there is any gotcha in when you move into a community and finding out that, oh, I didn't know that that was something that I needed to worry about, right? Like Masonic, the rules for a lodge, do they apply in community? That would be a gotcha, right? If it's not clearly stated in the handbook. I come from Episcopal Communities and Services. They've been around for 110 years. They got the name because the church started ECS as a widow's home. Sound familiar? Right? It started as a widow's home, charitable. It was a beautiful thing, right? Most not-for-profits, in fact, started with some affinity-based group, oftentimes faith-based. Here in California, I can think of a dozen off the top of my head. United Methodist Homes, Southern California Presbyterian Homes, the Jewish Home, Episcopal Homes. There's lots of them. But there was never a point at ECS, we want people to feel home where they are, right? So they know that these are our roots. They know that this is where we come from. They know what we value. It doesn't mean you have to be Episcopal to live there. Doesn't mean you have to go to Episcopal services. There were people of all faiths in the community, and we honor them equally. So we have to make sure that we're creating a space that honors everybody, Mason, non-Mason, Episcopal, Catholic, whatever that might be, right? We need to create a space that honors everybody to the best of our ability. And it should be reflected in the handbook. You are right. And in our policies and in our practices. Yes. Okay, I really feel like I'm wearing out my welcome. Hold on, Larry. I just want to make sure. Is there anybody that I missed back there? There were a couple hands earlier. You've thrown in the towel. Moving on to dinner. Or a second glass of wine. I'm ready. Okay, yes, Larry.
Make any kind of a sign.
I appreciate that, Larry. And so, no, and I think that again, that the intention here today was not to point fingers. We're not going there. I think I appreciate you saying that, Larry. Larry's comments are that he respects people's rights to believe and say what you need to in your heart. I think we all know you've all led lives through some of the most tumultuous times of our country in the 60s and the 70s. And I mean, you all have seen about everything that there is to see in terms of politics and social movements. Fair statement? So this is same but different. And while Larry said there were places that you just didn't talk about politics, because we all know it's going to be a hot button, right? And there are going to be people who agree with you and people that don't. So how do we do that? How do we honor and give people the opportunity and the space to be passionate about what they're passionate about? And thank you, Larry, for being willing to be absolutely supportive of their right to believe differently than we do. That's exactly what we're trying to, and to do that in a way that is respectful and harmonious. Thank you, Larry. We have to make sure that you're correct, that my expression of my opinion does not create a generalization or an assumption to the best of our ability that you agree with me, right? So, okay, it's after 5 o'clock. Yes.
Are you okay with making the signs?
We're going to take that as a policy issue if you're okay with it. Is that okay? Yeah. So, pardon me? I don't want it, that was why I'm just we're going to take that on as a policy issue, if you're okay with that. So that we make sure that I appreciate the sentiment that everybody has, that we want this to be a harmonious campus in which everybody feels respected and comfortable to be in one another's presence. We're not all going to like each other, it turns out. Who knew? I don't know if that's ever come up, that there is anybody in life that you've ever come across that you didn't particularly like or want to spend time with, or you didn't have anything in common with. And that happens here too. That's okay. And how do we allow for that in a way that, again, is respectful and harmonious? So I have completely worn out my work. Yes, Dan?
I don't want to put pressure on you, but
Oh, go ahead.
the situation, the political situation is exploding now. How soon can they?
We're working on some stuff. Literally today, we're working on a couple things and doing kind of a litmus test of, if this weren't political, what would our position be? What would our policy be? Where is politics coming in? Sometimes it enters into spaces that it doesn't need to enter into, right? It's not that politics are innately bad. They just can very often become divisive. Like I said, we've had political panels here, right? So that wasn't a bad thing. How do we honor that neutrality through our policy is what we're working on right now. And yes, time matters. And we want to do it in a way that we have as much of this, not small groups of people, but as much of this going on as possible. Okay? I think dinner's ready, so I'm talked out. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Sorry.
You'll figure it out.